Hi everyone, welcome to this week. We're going to expand the forms of the subjunctive with the perfect and the pluperfect. So we'll review the imperfect subjunctive and then we'll get into the perfect and the pluperfect subjunctive. So you might remember a couple of weeks ago we learned the imperfect subjunctive, which is that present active infinitive plus endings. And at least for the pluperfect, a similar formula is going to apply. And remember that this applies to all verbs, and that includes irregular. So even if their infinitive is irregular, which is where a lot of irregular verbs are irregular, the formula still applies. That infinitive plus the endings. All right. So this is the form. These are the forms that we already learned. Now this is the perfect infinitive, or sorry, the perfect subjunctive. All right, and the basic formula here is perfect stem. And remember, perfect stem is third principal part minus the I, plus ERI, plus endings. Now, this is going to look a little bit like the future perfect indicative, if you remember that. The difference, though, is that the ERI plus endings is not going to change. There are a couple forms in that future perfect indicative where the changes, or I guess just the first person singular, but you can see in that perfect subjunctive at the top there that it is always ERI plus the endings. That ERI never changes. It is always part of the form. Okay. As with the imperfect subjunctive, there is no real stock translation. That will depend on the use of the subjunctive. So we're not going to worry about we're not going to worry about translation, but just know those forms. That if we have ERI plus the endings, that gives us the perfect subjunctive, perfect active. All right. So here is the pluperfect subjunctive. All right, and as with the imperfect subjunctive, this is going to be an infinitive plus endings, but this is going to be the perfect active infinitive plus endings. And so that's going to be perfect stem, right? Again, third principal part minus the I, plus isse, plus endings. And again, that is not going to change, and that is going to work on for all verbs. Same exact for all verbs, even irregulars, even funky third conjugation verbs where the stem changes somewhat significantly. That is all going to work the same exact way. And you can see that up here in the chart. All right, we've got isse, 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 isse. And again, as with the imperfect subjunctive, if there is an ending, it has to be subjunctive. If there is not an ending, it has to be an infinitive. So portawisse, no ending. Personal ending, I should say. That's an infinitive. Portawisset, personal ending. The T after that infinitive ending, that makes it a subjunctive. All right? So those are forms for you to learn, and let's practice them a little bit. All right, so we're forming the perfect and the pluperfect subjunctive. You're using the pronoun in parentheses to indicate your subject. All right, make sure to look up principal parts, assuming you need to. All right, so tremuerit, and then tremuisset. All right, and again, just to point out, and so if we think about how those forms are put together, all right, so we've got the stem, which is tremu. Tremui is the third principal part. All right, we have that eri, which is the tense sign for the perfect subjunctive. And then, of course, we have the ending that gives us the subject. Same for the pluperfect. So tremu is, of course, still the stem. All right. Then isse, I overlapped a little bit there. Isse is the tense sign. And then T, again, is the ending. All right. I will skip one just because I kind of lost some room in that line there. So sum esse, irregular verb. But, again, it works the same way. All right. So the third part is fui. So fuerit is the third principal part, or the third person singular, and then fu is set. Same for the pluperfect. All right, so I will leave the rest to you, and obviously be in touch if you have any questions. All right, here's a text with the pluperfect subjunctive. All right, so we have 4 pluperfect active subjunctive verbs in the excerpt. All right, so what are they? All right, so there's one, timuisset. There's another, quaesisset. All right. Clamascent is one. Sometimes the AV, or the VI, I should say, is contracted. So that's really clamawiscent. All right. And then fuiscent. All right. And then number 2, there's also an imperfect subjunctive. If you can find that one. So naret. All right, there's our imperfect. All right, so let's see this week's summatives. All right, so we're identifying all the verbs by person, number, tense, and mood. Mood is going to be subjunctive or indicative. All right, include all possibilities for our ambiguous form. So some of these you're going to have to look up. So for instance, dent comes from do dare. That means that it is present, active, singular, subjunctive. All right, and third, plural. All right, I guess it doesn't ask for voice. So we can skip active. All right. All right, so miserint, right, is going to be future perfect indicative, third plural, or perfect subjunctive, third plural. So that is an overlapping form. All right, and I'll skip down to number 6. Pharemus is imperfect, subjunctive, first person, plural. All right, and I will leave the rest to you. Here is the writing summative. All right, so you're changing these from indicative to subjunctive. So remember, first, you have to identify the tense of the original. Oh, wrong color. All right, there we go. So first, identify the tense, all right, of the original. Then determine the formation. Oh, sorry about that. Formation of that tense in the subjunctive. And then, of course, do it. So in other words, vulneraweratus. All right, that indicates that it is pluperfect indicative. I need the pluperfect subjunctive, which, of course, is isap plus the ending. All right, so I can use the same stem. Vulnerawisetis. All right, and again, there's my stem, there's my tense sign, there's my ending. All right, number 2 and 3 are also pluperfect, so let's find a different one. How about number 6, nocuisti, which is perfect. All right, so nocueres. All right, and again, I left the U out. No cueres. Sorry about that. All right, so stem, tense sign, ending is the S. All right, and I'll leave the rest for you. That's it for this week. Please be in touch if you have any questions, and I will be here next week. Thanks.